The knife glints in the low light of the warehouse, pressed just close enough to draw a bead of crimson along her collarbone. Natasha doesn't flinch. She learned years ago that fear is a currency she can't afford to spend. The man holding the blade, some rival's disposable muscle, expects tears, begging. Instead, she meets his eyes with something that looks almost like boredom. Behind him, a door explodes inward. The gunshot is so clean, it sounds like a period at the end of a sentence. The thug crumples, and then he's there. Lee Ji-hyun, Seoul's most feared name, wrapped in a tailored black suit that probably costs more than her childhood home. Their eyes meet across 20 feet of concrete and blood, and something impossible tears through her chest. Not fear, not relief. Something that feels like recognition, like her soul just whispered, "Oh, there you are," to a man she's never met. His jaw tightens. For just a fraction of a heartbeat, the infamous Reaper of Gangnam looks shaken. Welcome to Afro-Korea Stories by Yem Besties. Please like, share, and subscribe. 3 months earlier, Natasha stands in the living room she's never been allowed to call home, and listens to her adoptive mother deliver the news with all the warmth of a business transaction. "You'll marry him in 2 weeks." Mrs. Chen doesn't look up from her phone. "The Lee family made the request. We accepted." Natasha's fingers dig into her palms. 23 years in this house, and she's still just inventory. Her adoptive sisters, the real daughters, lounge on the cream sofa, watching her with matching smirks. Yuna examines her manicure. Mira takes a photo of Natasha's stricken face, probably for her Instagram story. "Who?" Natasha's voice comes out steadier than she feels. "Lee Ji-hyun." Mr. Chen finally speaks from his armchair, not bothering to hide his satisfaction. "You should be grateful. A girl like you, with your background, marrying into the Lee family. A girl like her. Brown skin in a family that prizes pale complexion. Curvy, where they're willowy. American-born before they plucked her from foster care for the tax benefits and good press. She's been their charity case, their maid, their punching bag, and now, apparently, their sacrificial lamb. I've heard about him." Natasha keeps her voice level. "They call him the Reaper. People who cross him disappear." "Then don't cross him." Mrs. Chen's smile is sharp as glass. "Consider it your contribution to this family. The Lees want a wife for their difficult son. We provide one. In return, they forgive our debts and expand their business partnership with your father's company." "Your father, never our family, never your home." Yuna laughs, high and cruel. "Honestly, Natasha, it's perfect. You'll finally be useful for something. And when he inevitably destroys you, well, problem solved for everyone." The words should hurt. Maybe once they would have. But Natasha learned to build walls inside herself years ago, thick enough that their poison can't reach the parts of her that still feel. "When do I meet him?" she asks quietly. "You don't." Mr. Chen stands, discussion over. "The wedding is arranged. Your presence is all that's required." That night, Natasha sits on her bedroom floor, the smallest room in the house, tucked in the back corner like an afterthought, and lets herself feel it. The rage, the grief, the bone-deep exhaustion of being unwanted. She could run. She has money saved from the tutoring jobs her family doesn't know about. A passport they forgot to confiscate. But where would she go? She's been alone her whole life. At least marriage comes with a roof and a name, even if that name belongs to a monster. Her phone buzzes. An unknown number. "I'm told we're to be married. Meet me tomorrow, 3 p.m., the address below, come alone. No greeting, no signature, just an address in Gangnam, the kind of neighborhood where even the air feels expensive." Natasha stares at the message. Something in her chest pulls tight. She should be terrified. She is terrified. But underneath the fear runs something else. Something that feels dangerously close to curiosity. She types back, "I'll be there." The response is immediate. "Good." The restaurant is empty when she arrives. Not closed, emptied. For him. A hostess guides Natasha through the silent dining room to a private section in the back, separated by rice paper screens. And there he is. Lee Ji-hyun sits with the kind of stillness that suggests violence is merely a choice he's choosing not to make. Mid-30s, maybe. Sharp features that would be beautiful if they weren't so cold. dark hair swept back from a face that looks like it was carved from marble by an angry god. His suit is black, perfectly fitted, and probably Italian. When he looks up, his eyes are the color of whiskey, amber dark, and just as intoxicating. For a moment, neither of them speaks. Natasha was expecting a monster. She finds something infinitely more dangerous, a man who looks at her like she's an equation he can't quite solve. Sit. His voice is low, controlled, Korean accented English, smooth as smoke. She sits, keeps her spine straight, meets his eyes even though every instinct screams to look away. "You're not what I expected," he says finally. "Neither are you." It slips out before she can stop it. His eyebrow lifts, barely. "What did you expect?" "A monster." "And what do you see instead?" Natasha tilts her head, studying him. The dangerous curve of his mouth, the way his fingers rest on the table, controlled, patient, ready. A man pretending he doesn't have a heartbeat. Something flickers in his expression. Too fast to name. "Your family sold you to me. I'm aware. You could refuse." "Could I?" She leans back slightly. "Men like you don't make requests. You make demands and call them requests." His eyes narrow. "You're afraid of me." "Terrified," she admits. "But I've been afraid my whole life. At least you're honest about what you are." Ji-hyun goes very still. In the silence, Natasha can hear her own heartbeat. Too fast, too loud. She's said too much. Revealed too much. But something reckless has woken up inside her. Something that's tired of swallowing words and shrinking into corners. "They want you to break me," she continues, voice steady despite the trembling in her hands. "My family, that's why they agreed to this. They think you'll destroy me and they'll finally be rid of the charity case they've been stuck with for 15 years. He leans forward. The movement is slight, but it shifts the entire atmosphere between them. "And you think I won't?" "I think..." Natasha meets his eyes. "You could, easily, but I also think you didn't empty an entire restaurant just to intimidate someone you plan to destroy. You did it because you wanted privacy, which means you wanted to actually talk to me." The corner of his mouth twitches. It's not quite a smile, but it's something. "You're observant." "I've had to be." A server appears with tea, sets it down in trembling hands, and vanishes immediately. Ji-hyun pours for both of them, a gesture that surprises her. She expected him to make her serve him. "I didn't ask for a wife," he says quietly. "My family decided it was time. Image management. The Reaper needs to look domesticated." His eyes find hers again. "They gave me files on acceptable candidates, society daughters. I rejected all of them." "Why?" "Because they would expect love, romance, things I don't have to give." He takes a sip of tea. "Your family offered you, made it clear you had no expectations, no illusions. It seemed cleaner." Natasha's throat tightens. Of course, even in this, she's chosen because she's expendable, because no one will mourn her. "But now you're here," Ji-hyun continues, and his voice drops lower. "And you look at me like I'm human. Like you see past the reputation, and that..." He pauses. "That complicates things." "I don't want to complicate your life." "Too late." His gaze travels across her face, lingering on her eyes, her mouth, like he's memorizing her. "I'll make you a deal. Marry me. Play the part in public. In private, you'll have your own space, your own life. I won't touch you. Won't demand anything you're not willing to give. In return, you get away from the family that treats you like garbage, and you get my protection. No one will ever hurt you again." It sounds too good. There has to be a catch. And what do you get? A wife who isn't afraid to speak her mind, who sees me instead of my reputation. His jaw tightens. Someone real in a life full of facades. Natasha should ask for time, should think this through. Instead, she hears herself say, "Okay." His eyes flash with something that might be surprise or satisfaction. "Okay? I'm already condemned. Might as well choose my own cage." She holds his gaze. "But I have conditions too." Now he definitely looks amused. "Go on." "I keep my tutoring jobs. I finish my degree, and if I ever decide to leave, you can." He says it firmly. "I'm not interested in keeping prisoners, Natasha. It's the first time he's said her name. The way it sounds in his mouth, low and careful, like he's tasting something rare, sends heat spiraling through her stomach. Then we have a deal. She extends her hand across the table. He looks at her hand for a long moment, then he takes it. His palm is warm, calloused, strong. The contact lasts 3 seconds too long. Long enough for Natasha to feel her pulse jump. Long enough for his thumb to brush once across her knuckles, a touch so light she might have imagined it. When he releases her, the absence feels like cold water. "The wedding is next Saturday," he says, voice carefully neutral again. "I'll have my people contact you about arrangements. You'll move into my home the day after." "Okay." She stands, suddenly needing distance before she does something stupid like ask him to touch her again. "I should go." "Natasha." He rises too, and God, he's tall. 6'2" at least, broad-shouldered, built like he knows how to hurt people and does it well. "They'll try to sabotage you, your family, when they realize this arrangement benefits you instead of destroying you. Let them try." His expression shifts into something that might be respect. "Brave. Desperate," she corrects. "There's a difference." "I don't think there is, not for you." He moves around the table, stopping just close enough that she has to tilt her head back to maintain eye contact. "You've been surviving in a war zone your entire life. You just didn't have the weapons to fight back. Now you will." The words settle into her chest like a promise, like a vow more binding than any wedding ceremony. "Why?" she whispers. "Why help me?" For a moment, something cracks in his carefully controlled facade, something raw and aching and furiously guarded. "Because I know what it's like to be the one everyone expects to break, and I'm tired of watching people drown when I have the power to pull them out." Then he steps back. The mask slides into place again. Cool, untouchable, dangerous. "Go home, Natasha. Survive 1 more week. After that, you're mine to protect." The possessiveness in those last words should frighten her. Instead, it feels like the first safe thing anyone has ever offered her. She leaves without looking back, but she feels his eyes on her the entire way out. Burning, watchful, hungry for something neither of them can name yet. By the time she reaches the street, her hands are shaking, not from fear, from the terrifying realization that she wants him to look at her like that again, wants to crack open that control and see what's underneath, wants to know if a man like Lee Ji-hyun can actually feel something other than calculated coldness. Her phone buzzes. "Sleep well, wife. I'll be thinking about you." Natasha stares at the message, at the way he signed it, just with his initial, J. She's in so much trouble. And for the first time in her life, trouble feels like possibility. The week crawls by like a dying thing. Natasha's family alternates between ignoring her existence and making pointed comments about her impending doom. Yuna posts cryptic Instagram stories about karma. Mira stages a photo shoot in Natasha's room while she's at class, moving her things around just to prove she can. Mrs. Chen takes her shopping exactly once for a wedding dress. White, traditional, suffocating. Natasha stands on the platform while the seamstress pins the hem, and her adoptive mother scrolls through her phone, bored. "Try to smile on the day," Mrs. Chen says without looking up. "We want the photos to look good. For our sake, not yours." Natasha doesn't respond. She's learning to hoard her words like currency, spending them only where they matter. But at night, her phone lights up. "Jay, what are you thinking about?" N, "How strange it is that I'm more comfortable talking to a man called the Reaper than the people who raised me." "Jay, they didn't raise you, they contained you. There's a difference." N, "What are you thinking about?" The response takes longer this time. Jay, "How you looked at me in that restaurant, like you were deciding whether I was worth the risk." N, "Was I obvious?" Jay, "You're never obvious. That's the problem." "I can't read you the way I read everyone else." N, "Is that why you keep texting me, trying to solve the puzzle?" Jay, "I keep texting you because when I close my eyes, I see your face. And I haven't been able to stop thinking about what you'd look like if I made you smile. A real smile, not the ones you give your family." Natasha stares at the message until her vision blurs. Her heart does something complicated and painful in her chest. She types and deletes 4 different responses before settling on N. Then, I guess you'll have to try harder after the wedding. J. Is that a challenge? N. Would you accept it if it was? J. Natasha. I'd burn down the world if you challenged me to. Sleep. Dream of something better than that house you're trapped in. She falls asleep with her phone clutched in her hand, and for the first time in years, her dreams aren't nightmares. The wedding happens in a blur of white and gold and camera flashes. The venue is obscenely beautiful, some historical estate that Ji-hyun's family rented out entirely. Natasha's family shows up looking like they're attending a funeral. His family shows up looking like they're attending a business merger. Because that's what this is. A transaction. Except when Ji-hyun takes her hand at the altar, his grip is warm and steady and just tight enough to feel like an anchor. When he lifts her veil, his eyes search hers with an intensity that has nothing to do with performance. You look beautiful, he murmurs, low enough that only she can hear. You sound surprised. I'm not. He pauses and something flickers across his expression. Confusion. Want. I'm trying not to kiss you before the officiant gives permission. Heat floods through her. Then you should pay better attention to the ceremony. His mouth curves, barely. I'm paying attention to the only thing that matters. The officiant clears his throat. Ji-hyun tears his gaze away, but his thumb traces circles on her palm, a secret conversation in a room full of witnesses. When he's finally told to kiss her, he cups her face with both hands. Gentle, reverent, like she's something precious instead of purchased. His lips brush hers once, twice, soft and questioning, giving her every chance to pull away. She doesn't pull away. She leans in, opens to him, lets the kiss deepen just enough to taste the desperation underneath his control. When they break apart, his breathing is uneven, his eyes are molten, and every carefully constructed wall he built around himself has cracks running through it. Mine, he whispers against her mouth, so quiet she almost misses it. You're mine now. It should sound possessive, threatening. Instead, it sounds like a vow, like he's claiming responsibility for her safety, her happiness, her whole existence. Yours, she echoes, and means it. The reception is torture. Ji-hyun keeps her close, his hand on her lower back, his body angled protectively toward hers, his attention fractured between business obligations and watching her like she might disappear. Her family stays on the opposite side of the room. Yuna drinks too much champagne and glares. Mira takes photos with Ji-hyun's wealthy friends, angling for connections. Mr. and Mrs. Chen work the room like the social climbers they are. No one comes to congratulate Natasha. No one asks if she's happy. She's just the backdrop to her own wedding. Until Ji-hyun's mother approaches. Elegant, cold, beautiful in the way expensive things are beautiful. She looks Natasha up and down with clinical assessment. You're not what I would have chosen for my son, she says in perfect English, but he insisted, and Ji-hyun rarely insists on anything. Her eyes narrow slightly. Don't embarrass him. Don't embarrass this family, and for God's sake, don't expect love. He's not capable of it. With respect, Mrs. Lee, Natasha says softly, maybe he's just never had a reason to try. The older woman's expression freezes. For a heartbeat, Natasha thinks she's crossed a line. Then Mrs. Lee's mouth curves into something that might be approval. Perhaps you're not as weak as you look. She inclines her head. Survive him. If you can do that, you might be worth keeping. She walks away, leaving Natasha standing there with her heart pounding. A hand slides around her waist. Ji-hyun pulls her back against his chest, his breath warm against her ear. What did she say? That you're not capable of love. His grip tightens. And what did you say? That maybe you've never had a reason to try. He goes very still. Then he turns her around to face him, right there in the middle of the reception, with hundreds of eyes watching. His hand comes up to cup her jaw, thumb brushing her cheekbone. You're dangerous, he murmurs. So are you. Yes, but you make me want to be dangerous for you. Not to you, and I don't know what to do with that. Figure it out, she whispers. We have the rest of our lives. His penthouse is a study in controlled luxury. Floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Seoul's glittering sprawl, minimalist furniture in shades of black and gray. Everything sharp angles and clean lines, beautiful and cold, just like the man who lives here. Ji-hyun sets her suitcase down in the entryway. The door clicks shut behind them, and suddenly the space feels smaller, more intimate. They're alone for the first time as husband and wife. "Your room is down that hall," he says, nodding left. "Master suite is through there." He points right. "You have full access to everything. Security codes are written down in the kitchen. My driver will take you anywhere you need to go." Natasha turns to face him. He's loosened his tie, shed his jacket. In just the white shirt and black pants, he looks younger, less untouchable. "And where will you be?" "Working mostly. I have obligations. Business that requires my attention." His jaw tightens. "I meant what I said. I won't force myself on you, won't demand anything you're not ready to give." "What if I'm ready now?" The words hang between them like a lit match near gasoline. Ji-hyun's eyes go dark, hungry. He takes a step toward her, then stops, forces himself still. "You don't know what you're asking." "Don't I?" Natasha moves closer. Her heels bring her almost to his height. "I'm asking if the man who couldn't stop touching me all night, who looked at me like I was air and he was drowning, is going to actually follow through. Or if this is just another cage with better bars." Something in him snaps. She sees it happen the moment his control fractures. He closes the distance between them in 2 strides, backing her against the door. His hands bracket her head, caging her in. "You want honesty?" His voice is rough, strained. "I've thought about touching you every single day since that restaurant. I've imagined what sounds you'd make, how you'd taste, what it would feel like to have you fall apart in my hands, but I also know you've spent your whole life being used by people who should have protected you, and I will not be another person who takes from you." Natasha's breath catches, her pulse hammers in her throat. "What if I want to give?" "Then you'll have to prove it's not just gratitude, not just relief at escaping your family, not just..." He swallows hard. "Not just because you think it's expected?" She reaches up slowly, gives him time to move away. When he doesn't, she traces her fingers along his jaw, feeling the tension there, the barely leashed restraint. "I think about you too. The way you looked at me, the way you said mine like it was sacred. Like I was sacred." Her thumb brushes his lower lip. "I want to know if you kiss differently when there's no audience, if you'll let me see the man underneath the reaper." His breathing goes ragged. "Natasha?" "Show me," she whispers. "Please." For one suspended heartbeat, nothing happens. Then he's kissing her like she's oxygen, and he's been underwater for years, desperate, consuming. His mouth claims hers with a hunger that makes her knees weak, and she grabs his shoulders just to stay upright. He tastes like whiskey and want. His hands slide from the door to her waist, pulling her flush against him, and God, he's all hard muscle and barely controlled strength. When she gasps against his mouth, he groans, a raw, broken sound that sends heat pooling low in her stomach. "Tell me to stop," he breathes against her lips, "because if you don't, I won't be able to." "Don't stop!" She pulls him closer. "Don't you dare stop." He lifts her like she weighs nothing. Her legs wrap around his waist instinctively, and he carries her past the living room, down the hall, shouldering open a door. The bedroom is all dark wood and soft lighting, but Natasha barely registers it. She's too focused on the way he sets her down on the bed like she's something breakable, like she matters. "I need you to understand something," he says, voice low and wrecked. He frames her face with both hands, forcing her to meet his eyes. "This isn't casual for me. You aren't casual for me. The moment I saw you, something in me recognized something in you, and I don't know how to do this halfway." Tears prick her eyes. "Then don't." He kisses her again, slower this time, deeper, learning every curve of her mouth like he's memorizing a map. His hands trace down her sides, finding the zipper of her wedding dress. He pauses. "Yes," she whispers before he can ask. The dress falls away in whispers of silk. His shirt follows, then everything else, piece by piece, until there's nothing between them but skin and want and the terrifying vulnerability of being truly seen. "You're perfect," he murmurs, pressing kisses along her collarbone, her shoulder, the curve of her breast. "So damn perfect. I'm not You are. He looks up at her and his eyes are blazing. Every inch of you, every scar, every doubt, every brave, reckless thing you've ever done. Perfect. When he finally moves over her, into her, Natasha gasps at the overwhelming fullness, at the way he watches her face like it's the only thing that exists, at the whispered promises in Korean that she doesn't understand but feels in her bones. He's gentle but thorough, patient but possessive, giving her time to adjust, to breathe, to meet him stroke for stroke. And when the pleasure builds to something unbearable, when she's trembling and gasping his name, he's right there with her. Ji-hyun, she breathes. I know, he rasps against her throat. I know, baby, I feel it too. They shatter together. Twin falls into something that feels less like sex and more like a claiming. A binding, two broken people making each other whole in the spaces between heartbeats. Afterward, he gathers her against his chest, pulls the covers over them both, presses his lips to her temple, and just holds her. Stay, he whispers into the dark. Please, just stay. I'm not going anywhere, she promises, and means it completely. Natasha wakes to sunlight streaming through unfamiliar windows and an empty bed. For a moment, panic claws at her chest. Did he leave? Regret it? But then she hears water running in the bathroom, and the tension bleeds out of her shoulders. She sits up, pulling the sheet around herself, and takes in the room properly for the first time. Dark wood furniture, minimalist but expensive, a wall of windows overlooking the city, and on the nightstand beside her, a note in sharp, precise handwriting. Had to handle something at the office. Didn't want to wake you. There's breakfast in the kitchen. My driver is downstairs. If you need anything, come back to me safely. Jay. The last line makes her heart do something complicated. Come back to me. Like she's already essential. Like her absence would matter. The bathroom door opens. Ji-hyun emerges in nothing but low-slung black pants, hair damp, and Natasha's mouth goes dry. In daylight, she can see the scars, thin white lines across his ribs, a puckered mark on his shoulder that looks like an old bullet wound, evidence of a violent life. He stops when he sees her awake. Something softens in his expression. Good morning. Good morning. Her voice comes out rougher than intended. I thought you left. I did, 2 hours ago. Came back. He moves to the bed, sits on the edge. His hand finds her face, thumb brushing her cheekbone. Couldn't focus. Kept thinking about you here, alone, maybe regretting last night. I don't regret it. His eyes search hers. You should eat. Then we need to talk. The words send ice through her veins. That sounds ominous. Not what you think. He leans in, kisses her forehead. Get dressed. Meet me in the kitchen. 20 minutes later, Natasha finds him making coffee in a kitchen that looks barely used. He's added a dress shirt but left it partially unbuttoned, professional and disheveled at once. He slides a plate toward her, fruit, pastries, eggs prepared perfectly. Eat first, then I'll explain. She picks at the food while he watches her with that unreadable expression. Finally, she sets down her fork. Just tell me. Ji-hyun leans against the counter, crossing his arms. Last night, while you were sleeping, I received word that someone put a contract out. On you. The room tilts. What? Not a large one. Enough to attract low-level operators, the kind who will try something sloppy and desperate. His jaw tightens. I've already had my people trace it back. We'll know who ordered it by tonight. Natasha's hands start shaking. My family? That would be my guess. They thought marrying you off to me would be your destruction. Now they're realizing it might be your liberation. And people like them don't accept losing control. He moves closer, taking her cold hands in his warm ones. But I need you to understand something. You're under my protection now. That means anyone who touches you answers to me, and I don't answer with mercy. You're talking about killing people. I'm talking about sending a message. His eyes are hard as stone. You're mine, Natasha. Mine to protect, mine to keep safe, and I will paint this city red before I let anyone hurt you. She should be horrified, should recoil from the casual violence in his voice. Instead, she feels something fierce and grateful unfurl in her chest. "What do you need me to do?" Surprise flickers across his face. "You're not going to argue. Tell me I'm overreacting." "You just told me someone wants me dead. I think I'm past arguing about your methods." She squeezes his hands. "So what do I do?" "You stay close. Don't go anywhere without security, and you trust me to handle this." He pulls her up into his arms. "I know it's asking a lot. You barely know me, but I know enough." She looks up at him. "I know you came back because you were worried about me. I know you're the first person in my life who's ever talked about protecting me like it's not a burden. I know—" She swallows. "I know I feel safer with the Reaper than I ever did with the people who were supposed to love me." He makes a rough sound and crushes her against his chest. "I won't let them touch you. I swear it." They stay like that for a long moment, then his phone buzzes, he checks it, and his expression goes cold. "They found the source. It's exactly who we thought." "My father?" "Your adoptive father authorized the payment, but the request came from Yuna." His eyes meet hers. "Your sister wanted you dead." The words should hurt more than they do. But Natasha just feels numb. "What happens now?" "Now I pay them a visit. Explain the new reality." He cups her face. "Do you want to come with me? Or would you prefer to stay here?" She should stay, should let him handle it, but something reckless and angry surges up inside her. "I want to see their faces when they realize they failed." His smile is sharp and dangerous and deeply satisfied. "That's my girl." An hour later, they pull up to the Chen family home in a black car that probably costs more than the house itself. Ji-hyun's hand rests possessively on Natasha's thigh the entire drive. Two of his men flank them as they walk to the door. Mrs. Chen answers. Her expression cycles through shock, confusion, and finally fear when she sees Ji-hyun's cold smile. "We need to talk," he says pleasantly. "About the contract your family put on my wife's life." The blood drains from Mrs. Chen's face. "I don't know what you—" "Don't insult me with lies." His voice drops to something lethal. "Invite us in, unless you'd prefer to have this conversation where the neighbors can hear." They're ushered into the living room. Mr. Chen stands quickly from the sofa. Yuna and Mira freeze in the doorway, eyes wide. Ji-hyun doesn't sit. He stands like a king surveying traitors, one arm wrapped around Natasha's waist. "Let me clarify something you seem to have misunderstood. Natasha isn't your property anymore. She's mine, my wife, under my protection, and attempting to have her killed is the kind of mistake people don't survive." "We didn't," Mr. Chen starts. "The payment was traced to your account. The request came from your daughter's phone." Ji-hyun's smile is glacial. "So either you're complicit or you're incompetent. Either way, you've made an enemy you can't afford." Yuna's face goes white. "It was a joke. You didn't think hiring someone to kill your sister was serious?" Ji-hyun's voice could cut glass. "Or you didn't think you'd get caught?" "She's not my sister," Yuna spits, desperation making her cruel. "She's nothing. A charity case we took in for tax breaks. She doesn't deserve—" "Enough." The single word cracks through the room like a gunshot. Ji-hyun's arm tightens around Natasha. "Here's what's going to happen. You will liquidate assets worth exactly what you tried to pay to have her killed. That money will be transferred to Natasha's personal account as restitution. You will sign documents relinquishing any legal claim to her, past, present, or future, and you will never speak her name again." "You can't," Mr. Chen starts. "I can. I own half the businesses in this city, including 3 of your major clients." His smile is razor sharp. "Push me, and I'll own the other half by morning. Your company will be bankrupt by lunch. Your reputation will be ashes by dinner. And your daughters." He looks at Yuna and Mira with contempt. "They'll learn what it's like to be nobody, to have nothing, to be the ones people pity and discard." Mrs. Chen's hands shake. "This is extortion. This is mercy." Ji-hyun's eyes are cold as winter. "Be grateful I'm offering it, because my first instinct was to erase you completely, but Natasha asked me not to kill you. So I'm settling for destroying only your power to hurt her. Natasha feels every eye in the room turn to her. She could stay quiet, let Ji-hyun handle it. But she spent too many years swallowing her voice. You made me feel worthless, she says softly. Every single day for 15 years. You used me, belittled me, made me believe I should be grateful for scraps of basic human decency. She straightens her spine. But I'm not worthless. I never was. And now the whole world will see what you really are. The kind of people who tried to murder a girl whose only crime was surviving in a house that never wanted her. Mira starts crying. Mrs. Chen looks like she's aged 10 years in 10 minutes. Mr. Chen just stares at the floor, defeated. The papers will be drawn up by tomorrow, Ji-hyun says. Sign them, transfer the money, and pray I never hear your names in connection with my wife again. He turns to leave, guiding Natasha toward the door. Then he pauses, looks back. Oh, and one more thing. The business partnership you were counting on, consider it terminated permanently. They walk out into the sunlight. Natasha's legs are shaking, but she doesn't let herself fall apart until they're in the car. Then Ji-hyun pulls her into his lap, and she buries her face in his neck and just breathes. You did perfectly, he murmurs against her hair. So strong, so brave. I don't feel brave. That's what makes it count. He tilts her face up. You faced the people who tried to break you, and you didn't flinch. That's courage, Natasha. She kisses him. Desperate and grateful and overwhelmed. He responds immediately, hands sliding into her hair, holding her like she's the only solid thing in his universe. Take me home, she whispers against his mouth. His eyes darken. Are you sure? I'm sure. She touches his face. I want to forget they exist. I want to remember only you. Only this. The drive back feels endless. They barely make it through the door before they're pulling at clothes, stumbling toward the bedroom, too desperate to make it slow or gentle this time. It's raw and hungry and perfectly imperfect. Two people clinging to each other like lifelines. Afterward, wrapped in sheets and each other, Ji-hyun traces patterns on her spine. I have to go out tonight. Business I can't postpone. Fear spikes through her. Dangerous business. Always. He kisses her shoulder. But I'll come back. I always come back. Promise me. I promise. His arms tighten around her. Nothing in this world could keep me from coming back to you. He leaves at midnight, dressed in all black, his face a mask of cold purpose. Natasha watches from the window as his car disappears into Seoul's neon-lit darkness and tries not to imagine all the ways he might not come back. She falls asleep on the sofa, waiting. The explosion of the door jolts her awake. Her heart lurches, but it's not Ji-hyun. 3 men, faces covered, guns drawn, the contract. Someone didn't get the message or didn't care. Natasha runs, makes it halfway down the hall before hands grab her. She fights. Nails, teeth, everything she has. One of them backhands her hard enough that stars burst across her vision. Stupid bitch, should have stayed with your family. At least you'd have died in your sleep. They drag her toward the service elevator. She's screaming, thrashing, but the penthouse is soundproofed and it's 3 a.m. and no one's coming, except the elevator doors open and suddenly there's gunfire. The man holding her drops, the other 2 turn, shooting wildly. Natasha hits the ground, covering her head. When the noise stops, she looks up. Ji-hyun stands in the elevator doorway, guns still raised, eyes blazing with something beyond fury. Beyond violence, something apocalyptic. His men pour out behind him, securing the scene, but he's already moving toward her. Natasha. His hands frame her face, checking for injuries. Blood seeps from a cut on her cheekbone where she was hit. His expression goes absolutely murderous. Who did this? I don't know. They just... Shh, I've got you. He lifts her like she weighs nothing, carrying her past the bodies into the elevator. I've got you, baby. You're safe now. How did you know? Security system alerted me the second the door was breached. I was 10 minutes away. His jaw clenches. 10 minutes too long. She buries her face in his neck, shaking. You came back. Always. He kisses her temple. I will always come back for you. They don't go back to the penthouse that night. Ji-hyun takes her to a safe house. Smaller, more secure, impossible to find. He personally checks every room, every window, every possible entry point. Then he sits with her in the bathroom while she showers, washing away blood and fear, staying close enough that she can see his shadow through the glass. When she finally falls asleep, it's wrapped in his arms, with his heartbeat steady against her ear. And in the morning, when she wakes, the news is everywhere. 3 low-level criminals found dead in an expensive penthouse, police calling it a robbery gone wrong. But whispers in the underworld tell a different story about the Reaper and what happens to people who touch what's his. 3 days later, Ji-hyun comes home at dawn with blood on his knuckles and exhaustion carved into his face. Natasha meets him at the door of the safe house. She doesn't ask questions, just takes his hand and leads him to the bathroom, sits him on the edge of the tub, and carefully cleans the blood away. "It's done," he says quietly. "Every single person involved, every connection to your family, every loose end, done. And my family? Broken. Bankrupt by noon yesterday. Your father's company collapsed. Their assets are frozen pending investigation into financial crimes I may or may not have anonymously reported." His eyes meet hers. "They can't hurt you anymore. No one can." Natasha's hand's still on his. "Did you kill anyone? Would it matter if I did?" She thinks about it. Really thinks. "No," she says finally. "Not if it means I'm safe. Not if it means you came home to me." Something cracks in his expression. He pulls her into his lap, buries his face in her hair. "I'm trying not to be a monster with you, but when someone threatens you, I stop being human. I become exactly what they call me. Maybe I don't need you to be human." She cups his face, making him look at her. "Maybe I just need you to be mine." He kisses her like she's salvation, like she's the only good thing in his violent world. "I love you," he breathes against her mouth. "I know it's too soon. I know we barely know each other. But I love you, Natasha. Completely. Irrevocably. In ways that terrify me." Tears spill down her cheeks. "I love you too. I think I started falling the moment you looked at me like I was worth protecting." "You are. God, you are." He stands, lifting her with him. "Let me show you. Let me prove it." They make love in the morning light, slow and achingly tender, every touch a promise, every kiss a vow. And when they're tangled together afterward, hearts still racing, Natasha realizes this is what home feels like. Not a place. A person. 2 months later, they return to the penthouse. Enhanced security, new protocols, but also new furniture in softer colors, art on the walls that Natasha chose, books on shelves, evidence that someone actually lives there instead of just existing. She finishes her degree. Ji-hyun shows up to her graduation with flowers and pride blazing in his eyes. Her tutoring business expands. He offers her office space in one of his buildings, introduces her to contacts, helps her grow something that's entirely hers. They fight sometimes. He's possessive and controlling by nature. She's independent and refuses to be caged. But they learn each other's edges, learn to compromise, learn that love doesn't mean losing yourself. It means becoming more of who you're meant to be. 6 months in, Natasha misses her period. The test is positive. She stares at it for 10 minutes before Ji-hyun finds her sitting on the bathroom floor, shaking. "What's wrong?" He's immediately at her side, checking for injuries, threats. She hands him the test. He goes very still. Then his eyes meet hers, and they're blazing with something that looks like wonder. "You're pregnant?" "I'm pregnant." "And you're... How do you feel?" "Terrified," she admits. "We've only been married 6 months. I'm still building my business, and your world is so dangerous." He cuts her off with a kiss, deep and claiming and reverent. "You're carrying my child, our child, and I'm going to protect both of you with everything I have. Nothing will touch you. Nothing will touch our family. Promise? I swear it on my life." Their daughter is born on a rainy autumn morning, small and perfect, with her mother's deep brown skin and her father's sharp features. They name her Mira, not after Natasha's adoptive sister, but the word for peace, because that's what she represents. The peaceful life they carved out of violence and betrayal. Ji-hyun holds her like she's made of glass. This man who's killed without hesitation, who rules Seoul's underworld with an iron fist, who built an empire on fear, he cradles his daughter and cries, I don't know how to be a father, he whispers. What if I break her? What if I'm too much monster and not enough man? Natasha takes his hand. You'll learn, we'll learn together, and our daughter will never wonder if she's wanted. She'll never know what it's like to be unloved because she has us. He looks at her with everything he feels written across his face. I don't deserve you, either of you. Maybe not, but you're stuck with us anyway, she smiles. Forever. Forever, he echoes, and kisses her like it's a vow. Years later, when their daughter is 5 and asking questions about family, Natasha tells her the truth. About being adopted, about being unwanted, about meeting a man everyone said was dangerous. But Daddy's not dangerous, Mira argues. Oh, he is, Natasha says, glancing at Ji-hyun across the room. He's on a business call, all sharp edges and cold authority. Then he catches her eye and smiles, soft and private and meant only for her. He's the most dangerous man I've ever met, but he's dangerous for us, not to us. And that makes all the difference. That night, after their daughter is asleep, Ji-hyun pulls Natasha onto the balcony. The city glitters below them, his empire, his kingdom, but when he looks at her, none of it matters. Do you ever regret it, he asks, marrying the monster? Every day, she teases. Then, more seriously, I regret nothing. You saved me, Ji-hyun. You gave me a family, a home, a reason to believe I was worth loving. You were always worth loving. I just had the privilege of being the one who got to prove it. He kisses her forehead. Thank you for choosing me, for staying, for building this life with me. Thank you for coming back to me, she whispers. Always, always, he promises, and he keeps that promise through danger and joy, through violence and peace, through every moment of the life they build together. The reaper and the girl no one wanted, 2 broken people who made each other whole. Their love story started as a punishment, an arrangement, a transaction meant to destroy her. Instead, it became salvation for both of them. And they lived, fought, loved, survived, fiercely and completely, forever. The end.